Zealoters, thank you for your love and support. I appreciate you all. Is Africa repeating history again? Emmanuel Macron, the president of France, was in Nairobi, Kenya, just a few days ago. The message he sold to the African is they have come to unite with us. They are Pan-Africanists. They are the first Pan-Africanists. And when it comes to our resources, there are people outside of the continent who are bent on exploiting the African. And the reason is for them to come and help defend and protect these resources from the outside world, the powers that are interested in our resources. Only for Macron to move to Ethiopia. And the real reason to which he was in Africa, or they organized this summit in Africa, Unveiled. According to Emmanuel Macron, there's this initiative called Franco-Mexican initiative. The purpose is to block a veto power in case of mass unaliving of people. For now, they have 118 countries, and they have managed to get 11 countries just this short period that he came to Africa. So they need just a number to add to it so they can get the 130. So that anytime that they think that a veto power like China, like Russia that is in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso protecting them, and Human Rights Watch comes out with a report telling the whole world that there's mass unaliving here, there's mass unaliving in this country, they cannot use this thing to block the resolution. Or when the resolution is passed about these people, when the report is brought, they will not use it as a power on their own to also act. Because we had this human rights thing that came out and told the world about the mass unaliving in Burkina Faso. They moved to Mali when Mali finally decided to whom on the T groups. They now claim that Mali was unaliving their own people. So when these things happen and it doesn't favor Europe, Europe will now use this power to now act. It was the same narrative they gave us when they wanted to attack Iran, telling the world that the supreme leader at then, Ayatollah Khamenei, was unaliving his people. So they have to go and save the people. At the end of the day, we saw the main reason to which they were going into Iran. They talked about the uranium dust. And even before the same person who wanted to save the people in Iran got to China and he was asked, he told the world that he doesn't care about the financial situation of the Americans. What matters to him is the uranium whatever that is happening in Iran.
People, it is beginning to be clear now the main purpose, right? Amongst the many things that we were told while Emmanuel Macron together with President Ruto hosted the African Forward Summit, we are now beginning to understand one of the main reasons why he traveled to Kenya. Listen to this video, to his speech, because when he left Kenya, he paid a visit in Ethiopia. And in Ethiopia, he had a speech, right, together with the president of African Union Commission and Antonio Guterres, the president of the UN. During that speech, many things were revealed by Emmanuel Macron. Listen carefully, please.
Concrete sign once again of our joint work. In Nairobi, we made progress on improving multilateral operations, with 11 African countries joining what is known as the Franco-Mexican initiative, an initiative we launched a few years ago, which aims to limit the use of the veto right at the United Nations Security Council in cases of mass crimes. No one can legitimately understand how a member state with veto power at the Security Council can block the proper functioning of the United Nations when a mass crime is taking place. This limitation requires a reform of the Charter. For that, we need to mobilize the members. Thanks to the mobilization we were able to carry out in Nairobi, we now have 11 African states that have joined us, in addition to those who were already behind this initiative, making a total of 118 member states. We need 131 to have 2/3, so we will continue the...
So people, he said they had to revise multilateralism. They were able to get 11 African presidents to join an initiative called Franco-Mexican Initiative. We are coming. Note these main points. The third point he mentioned was the goal of this is to be able to rally 130 countries, and they already have 118 countries. The purpose is to block a veto power in case of mass killings. This is very important. Note that point very well. And he said they already have 118. He was able to have 11 from Africa during this summit. Do you guys understand where they are headed? Now, here's the thing. For those who know how to connect dots very fast, you would remember that just a couple of months back, there was some so-called Human Rights Watch report that was published about Burkina Faso. That is mass killings, because they accused Burkinabe soldiers of unaliving civilians, which is not true. We talked about that here very well. We know what they have been saying about Mali, right? When the farmer hit those guys, they say Malian soldiers are unaliving civilians. The same thing with Niger. You guys saw what they did to Iran somewhere around January of this year, where they claimed that Iran unalived 450,000 of its citizens. Can you now understand the meaning of the Franco-Mexican initiative, which has as goal to block a veto power like Russia and China? Because when they would decide that they want to attack one of these countries, be it Iran, of course, Iran is now a powerful country. Even if you want to attack them, they are going to fight you till the last man standing. What if they want to attack Burkina Faso, Mali, or any country which is not as strong as Iran? They would first of all send their Human Rights Watch people to make their report of mass unalivings. After it is made at the United Nations, they would seek for a resolution. When Russia or China would veto that, no, we are not in favor, what will happen? The Franco-Mexican initiative will now come into play. 130 countries which have joined the Franco-Mexican alliance would step up and say, we are in favor of this initiative. And the UN would subvert the veto power of countries like Russia or China and go ahead to execute their plan. These guys are more sinister than some of us are thinking. While some of us are sleeping, these guys are busy working on how to get us back. And to do that, they need a UN resolution. Since Russia and China are not permitting them to have one, they need to find a way to counterattack that.
How do these people then turn back and tell us that they love us in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso? So the main motive is to also get a power, so that when their interest isn't served, they use that power to come in and act. So they will first of all send their people, like they did, to come and write whatever that they want. After that, they feed it back to them. Then they now send it to their UN, that organization that, like Dr. Rekana said, why do we even need to be part of this organization at the first place when we are only going there to decide on issues that do not have anything to do with us? So it is an agenda. They will continue to be moving from one place to the other. But you have African leaders who have also joined the move, because, like, sometimes I don't know why our leaders keep doing things the way they do. Who do you think this veto power will be used against, if not you, the Africans? When they say something concerning Africa and you rise up, they will use this power to kick against you. After all, 11 of you, or how many of you being part of them, will not change the narrative. Whenever Russia rises to defend Mali, they can kick against it. Whenever China rises to defend Mali, they can kick against it. You know, the other ones, they are all with them. So there's no way they will ever say A and they'll act against it. Because Europe itself is still under the United States of America. So they will always try to do whatever that they think will favor the United States. So these things that they always do is not for the interest of Africa. Any institution that these people are creating is not for you, the African. I hope we are seeing how these people are manifesting. They are doing everything possible to have their way in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. That is why he's spearheading that. Because France's interest is no longer served. After Burkina Faso, human rights, we have civil society coming out with reports about what is happening in Mali. Yet the mass thing that is happening even in this day, we don't have these people talking about it. They are always silent. The only strength is on Africa. They can't go and talk about these things in Russia, in China, in Korea, North Korea. No. They always go after weak countries like Mali, like Niger, like Burkina Faso, because they know that we are weak when it comes to defending ourselves. When it comes to defending ourselves, unlike Iran has everything that it takes. And we have seen how Iran was able to push these people forward to the point that they are now the ones begging for a ceasefire. So if they come into Africa where we do not have that strength, it means they can use that thing to have their way. And the time has come for Africa to find his or her own voice. Like Dr. Rikana is calling for, why do we need to be part of UN? So if UN will not be used against the African, then it's better Africa is not part of it. Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso decide to be somewhere. But let's see how it's going to play out, because there is no way Russia and China will also fold their arms watching them to have their way in anything that they want to do in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. Because Russia has made it clear to us they will continue to defend and protect them. And you saw the video where the foreign minister was with this European and the French diplomats, and they were talking about them backing off because Africa and then the Sahelian states are for them. Like, these people in this modern world still have the notion that they owe Africa. Yet we have our leaders sitting down claiming they are doing business partnership with the people who think that we are still a property that they owe. It's heartbreaking. They are not stopping. And it's a message to our brothers and sisters in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. We will see how things are going to play out in this new modern world. Africa, the time for us to unite is now. There's no one that will come here that they are coming to protect you. If we are not ready to unite to protect ourselves, we are the only ones that can set ourselves free. United we stand, divided we fall. And united we keep standing forever and ever. The greatest enemy of the African is mental slavery. So let's decolonize ourselves from mental slavery. Let's keep sharing to educate our brothers and sisters. Together we'll make Africa great for ourselves and the next generations that are going to come. So that's the latest around the world, in Europe and in France.